Welcome to another Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. I am Benjamin, and today's theme on this theme banknote video is that of bows and arrows and how they appear on a banknote. We're going to discuss a handful of banknotes I have with bows and arrows, and I'm sure that you can add to that list. While you're thinking about whether or not to comment and add to that list, why don't you go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel so you can receive automatic updates as well as notices whenever I post new videos. I have more than 250 videos for your enjoyment in individual videos and in video groups so that you can have a lot of them play nonstop for you. Now, we're going to go into a little bit of information about bows and arrows before I actually show you these notes. A bow and arrow is a two-part hunting device. It consists of a launching device, which would be the bow, and a projectile, which would be the arrow. And historically, it was used for hunting and fighting. Presently, it is used more for sports and hunting. The oldest evidence of a bow and arrow is from South Africa and date about 72,000 to 60,000 years ago. Very impressive. The oldest arrowheads that have actually been found outside of Africa were from Sri Lanka, and they were dated to be about 48,000 years old. So that they have been around for quite some time. And the first note I want to share with you that has bows and arrows on it is from Chile, and this is a one escudo. And it looks like the bow and arrow is probably on the back of this banknote. And sure enough, you have spears, harquebuses, you have horses, you have armor, you have those crazy puffy pants that you can only see if you go visit the Vatican nowadays. But over here we have a native person, and he is wearing his native clothing, but he is carrying a bow, and one would assume he has access to some arrows. This is the foundation of Santiago, so this is one of the formative paintings that indicate the origins of the nation. We're going to move from Chile in South America to Mexico in North America. And this is a note that I know you've seen before because it has Morales over here, the priest who wore a rag on his head that he would tighten to help him deal with the massive headache pain that he suffered from. And you here have his saber down here, and you have buildings that I'm sure you can still see in Mexico to this day. But over here, you have a bow and an arrow. Let's see if there's anything that would be bowy and arrowy on this side. You still have that bow and arrow right here. So it makes me think that that might be a offset registering device. Rattlesnake, Quetzalcoatl, or feathered serpent. Pyramid in Chichen Itza. But yeah, I think that's your bow and arrow on this Mexican banknote. We're going to move to Egypt now. And Egypt is in Africa. This is in North Africa. Let's take a look at this 20-pound. Beautiful mosque on this side of the notes. I've always liked how Egypt can honor the eras that they're from. They honor the current era with the mosques and the fact that Egypt is a Muslim nation. But then they also have an honor of everything that predates Islam in Egypt, and they honor that as well. And here on this page we have some carved inscriptions from some of the I'm going to assume temples or graves that can be found in the Valley of the Kings. And over here we can tell that it's pharaohs or embodiments of a pharaoh, because you have the crown of Upper and Lower Egypt, and then you have a man who has the combined crown of a combined Egypt. You can see this crown in the middle surrounded by this crown. And Egypts of Upper and Lower Egypt wore one or the other, and when Egypt was unified, the pharaoh wore a crown with both of them. And he has flails here. Looks like there's the falcon god Horus. But here's a pharaoh with a battle crown in a chariot pulled by horses and firing a bow and an arrow. I'm not sure how I'd feel if something like that was barreling down on me. I'd be a little bit freaky if you ask me. We're going to move over to Mongolia, which is in Asia, and I have a tiny little note here, a 10 Mongo. And on this side of the note, you see two Mongols on this Mongo note, and they are shooting bows and arrows too as well. Horseback riding and bows and arrows were the main way that the Mongols conquered Asia and a good portion of Europe before they were stopped. So it's a kind of a nice note. And I was fascinated whenever I was in Korea to realize that Koreans are a Mongol people, so it made sense that in Korean history they had a lot of artwork with horseback riding and bows and arrows. Their banknotes also have bows and arrows on them sometime, and one of the holiday games they like to play is where they will set up a quiver, which looks like a jar in the distance, and they will just stand back and try to throw the arrows into the quiver. I don't know. I don't know how fun that is, but it seems to me they made a game out of everything they possibly could. We're going to move back to Brazil for a 5,000 Cruzeiros, and this is Oswaldo Cruz, or this is Carlos Gomez. He was a very artistic musician, and on the back of this note is a beautiful piano. There's a tuning fork, registration device, and over here, I always thought it was him, but in costume maybe, but it could be something else. But it is somebody who's dressed in the clothes of a local, and they are getting ready to string a bow, or they have a bow strung, and they're getting ready to fire an arrow from it. So, bow and arrows in actions, guys. And the final note I'm going to share with you takes us back to Egypt, and this is 100-pound from the late 1970s. And one side has the mosque, and the other side has the beautiful mask of King Tut. And as you look down here, there are other scenes in the note, and I think we have scarab beetles here at the bottom. In the middle, it looks like we have a pharaoh pulling or drawing back on a bow and getting ready to fire an arrow. Who knows? Into what? Maybe his mother-in-law. I have no idea. I know sometimes they can get vicious in the royal family. I am Benjamin. This is Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and cuss and discuss with me, as well as add to the list of banknotes with bows and arrows. Have a jewel of a day.